Hello everyone, welcome to the first tutorial of Basics of Adobe Photoshop tutorial series. This is Pinderjeet Singh Clare and you are watching Graphics Rain. In this tutorial series, I will teach you the very basic and necessary tools that a beginner should have to know before start making any project in Adobe Photoshop. Basically, this tutorial is for beginners, so it will be a little bit slow, and if you are an expert in Photoshop, then maybe this tutorial is not for you, but you may get some more knowledge of the tools. So let's begin with the very first tutorial of Basics of Adobe Photoshop tutorial series. Here I am using Adobe Photoshop CC 2015. First of all, make sure that you are on the same interface as shown on my screen. For this, click on the Windows and then go to Workspace and then check the Essentials default. Okay, now you are on the same interface as shown on my screen. Now at the top of the Photoshop window, we have a menu bar which consists of various types of menus. We will discuss all these menus in our upcoming tutorial, but in this tutorial we will discuss about the file menu. Click on the file menu and in file menu we have first option of new. Click on the new and a new window will appear on your screen. You can also open new window by pressing Ctrl N from your keyboard, and if you are using Mac then it's Command N. Now in the new window, first of all we have the option of name. Here you can give name to your document. This is not necessary to give name to your document here. We can do this when we are going to save our document. So for the time being, let's give name it here. Give it name as example. Next comes the document type. Here it is selected as custom, means you can change the width and height of your document according to your needs. Here it is selected 1000. Maybe it is different on your screen. You can set width and height according to your needs. Here width is 1000 pixels and height is 1000 pixels. Pixels, we all know that image is a combination of pixels, but here you can change it to inches, centimeters, millimeters, points, picas or columns. Generally we use pixels when we are going to design a document or any asset for web. That means we are not going to print that asset, we are using that image or any asset over the web only. But when we are going to work on an image that we are going to print or we need that image in very high quality, then we select here as inches. You notice that when we change it to inches, the width and height of the document will changes to hexadecimal digits. Next comes the resolution. Resolution is one of the most important part of your image. The quality of your image totally depends upon the resolution of your image. You can set it to as pixels per inch or centimeter per inch. Basically, resolution in pixel per inch means that how many pixels are there in your image per inch. Means in 1 inch there are 300 pixels in your image, and this thing will highly affect the quality of your image. Now notice one thing, that when resolution is 300 pixels per inch, the size of image is 2.86 MB. But if I decrease this resolution of this image, let it be 150 pixels per inch, the size of image will automatically be decreased. So the resolution will totally affect the size and quality of your image. Next comes the color mode. Here the color mode selected is RGB, but there are others also. RGB stands for red, green and blue color, and next comes the CMYK, that is cyan, magenta, yellow and black. We use RGB when we are going to design a document for web only, means we are not going to print that document. For those type of images or assets we use the RGB color mode, but when we are going to print that document then we use CMYK color mode. These things will highly affect your image or your document that you are going to work. Next comes the background contents. Here you can select the type of background that you want in your document. Here it is selected as white. You can change the color of your background. Just click on this white box and a color picker window will appear on your screen. Click on the color that you want in your background. Suppose I want black color as my background. I click on the black color and hit OK button. Now if I click on OK button, this will create a document for me with 3.33 inches width and 3.33 inches height with 150 pixels per inch of its resolution and a black background. So let's see, hit on the OK button. As you see, a blank document with black background is created. So click here to close the document. Again go to file menu, new. Now as I selected background as black, it creates a document for me with black background. Now if I choose background color, again it's the same. As I click on this, I can change the color, any type of color, and click on OK button, and this will create a document for me with that color. But if I want my background as a transparent, then I click on the transparent, and this will create a document for me which have no background. Generally we use this type of background contents when we are going to design assets for game in which we don't want any type of background. So if I click on OK button, it will create a document for me which has no background. So as you see, there is no background in my document. So let's close this. Again go to file menu, new. Now let's understand the other document types that a Photoshop has. Next comes the default Photoshop size. This will set the default Photoshop size, that is 7 inches width and 5 inches height with 300 pixels per inch resolution. We can select this document type for general work purposes. Next comes the US paper. You can select any type of US paper such as letter, legal or tabloid, and it will set the width and height of the document as set default by the Photoshop, as we see in our last document type, that is default. Next comes the international paper. In international paper, all the paper sizes are available such as A4, A6, A5, A3, B3, B4. All paper sizes are available there. Generally we use A4 size paper when we are going to design flares in Photoshop. You will have better understanding of all these options when we are going to work on any projects in our upcoming tutorials. Next option in document type is photo. We use this option when we are going to design passport size photos in Photoshop. Here is the size of the photo sheet over which we are going to print our passport size photos or any small photo. If you select the size as 4:6 landscape, this will create a document for me over which I can place 8 passport size photos with default photo size. In the same way, you can select other sizes according to your needs. Next comes the web. We use web when we are going to design a document that we are going to use only over the web. Here you see the resolution of web document is just 72 pixels. Means if we print it, the quality of image will not be very good, but if we use it over the web, then it is better. Next comes the mobile app design. We use this document type when we are going to design any app icon or any app design in Photoshop. You can select here the type of cell phone for which you are going to design an app icon or any document that you are going to use for that app. Next comes the film and video. This is used to create a very high quality of images. This is basically used by the professional photographers for designing wedding albums or other things. So these are the necessary document types that a beginner should have to know before start using Photoshop. Let's click on default Photoshop size and create a document with white background. Now if you want to open an image which is currently present in your system, then go to file menu, click on the open, and it will demand for the path of the image. Click on any image and click on open, and the image will open in your Photoshop window. You can also open an image by pressing Ctrl or Command O from your keyboard. If you want to open more than one image, then do the same process. Just click on File menu, go to Open and hold the Ctrl key from your keyboard and click on the images that you want to open and then click on Open, and it will open those images in Photoshop. Now to close an image, just click on the cross here. There is another method to open an image in Photoshop. Just go to your image where it is present in your system. Now click on the image that you want to open in Photoshop and drag that image to Photoshop window. And this will open an image in your Photoshop. So this is enough of File menu. Next, these options we will discuss when we are going to work on any project in Photoshop. In our next upcoming tutorials, we will discuss all these tools present in Photoshop, and these are one of the basic and necessary tools that a beginner should have to know before start making any project in Photoshop. So thanks for watching and stay connected to learn more about the Adobe Photoshop.